All right, Virgo, welcome to your June 2026 reading. Let's shuffle up your cards and see what comes up. All right. So, first we have the Ten of Cups. Next we have the King of Swords. Oh, the Five of Pentacles. Temperance. And the Moon. Okay. Interesting. So, Ten of Cups tends to represent a transformation of emotions. You've been working on changing some internal feelings for quite some time, probably. And, this is an interesting mixture of cards. There's like a sense that maybe there's a fear that transformation also means like losing things. And in some cases it can, but there's almost this sense that like you're worried that if you go too far in this sort of inner change, that you'll start making decisions based on a different sort of criteria, a different rule set, which might not have much to do with things like money. Maybe you are interested in other things that feel more fulfilling that don't necessarily immediately appear as if they're going to bring you more money. But I think there's also this sense of like you kind of know that's not necessarily true, and but there's still just this feeling of fear, like a deep-seated kind of just feeling that if you don't, I don't know, there's just a fear to change too much. This assumption that you'll stop taking care of your material life if you focus too much on your spiritual life. But that's actually not necessarily true. In some cases, for some people, they do sometimes have to go through a period where things kind of fall apart a little bit, but it's not always the case. Um, if you're doing well or doing all right financially now, there's a good chance that when you go through a process like this, you'll still continue to be okay, even if there are some times that you don't have quite as much as you maybe are used to or would like. But it still requires a bit of a active will to overcome this feeling. There's a deep sense of wanting to change on like a fundamental level, wanting to change your emotional world and just feel a little more free. And for one reason or another, that feeling of freedom for you has been equated with irresponsibility. But that's a belief. That's like a conditioned thought that maybe has been given to you by maybe your parents at some point in your life, or something to do with the culture that you grew up in. Let me pull a few more cards and see what else we got here. All right. Try to shuffle fast because people click away the moment I stop talking. So, um, the Page of Pentacles, Four of Wands, the Fool, the Moon again, and the Nine of Swords. Okay. So what we have coming up here, so the Page of Pentacles tends to be like, I interpret that as like it's the earth aspect of the earth element. So it is pure, like the foundational bedrock of whatever we're talking about, usually the psyche. And you're learning to instill this sense of, you've been building up to this sense of like almost like dancing with the universe. The Four of Wands it's not just tolerating or accepting what comes, but it's like almost like things come to you and you're happy to just go along with the flow. Like things are kind of just going the way you would like, and it's effortless and enjoyable. And when that happens and you kind of get in that like just go with the flow, don't really worry about where things are going or what might happen, and everything just seems to be flowing nicely, even though that's a wonderful experience, it seems to trigger a feeling of anxiety. It's like something in your nervous system kind of bubbles up, maybe some kind of, again, conditioning from the past, something that you experienced early in life where you were somehow taught that that's not how life works. You can't just play all day. It's all about hard work and discipline and accomplishment. And even if you still achieve these different things and you feel like you're, accomplishing things, it's almost like if it's too easy, if it feels too good, there's a sense of like I'm doing something wrong. This isn't life supposed to hurt? Isn't work supposed to be painful? Aren't I supposed to earn what I have through blood, sweat, and tears? And there creates this sort of misperception of yourself, and like worries about what may happen if you continue down that path too far. So really, it's as far as I can tell, this whole thing is kind of all in your head. It's really just like an old idea that was put in your head a long time ago, maybe when you were too young to even remember or have any say in the matter. Where, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit like self-defeating, right? It's contradictory. Things are going too well. Things are feeling too good, too easy, but it's not supposed to be that way, right? Everybody always told me that everything, you have to work really, really hard and fight for what you want, and life is, life's not fair. Life isn't just a game, all these different things that, especially older generations used to love to say all the time to almost like glorify their suffering and struggle like it's a virtue, and not like a trauma induced pattern that they just don't know how to change, so they learn to love it. Um, anyways, um, okay, this one's a little quick. Let's pull a few more cards here. Okay, so we've shuffled the cards. Ace of Swords, the High Priestess, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the King of Swords again. So I feel like you kind of already know what I've been saying here, and you know that it's kind of counterproductive and maybe a little illogical and just rooted in things that you've been told to believe that you don't consciously believe. You don't think that way, but the feeling arises when certain circumstances come up. This idea that you need to like struggle in order to earn anything in life, even if like you're not supposed to enjoy what you're doing too much. But if you spend some time, just in stillness and silence, and just take some time to just do nothing, just be quiet with yourself, just feel whatever you're feeling, have a little patience, don't really try to rush forward to the next thing right now. And a new sort of realization, we have the two aces here of cups and swords. There's like this new intellectual and emotional realization, like the answers you seek are already within you. I know it's kind of cliche to say that, but it's true, and closer to the surface than you might even realize. So all you really need to do for this is to just take a step back. Just be silent for a while. Observe the feelings. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Just let the dust settle in your mind a little bit, and suddenly you'll realize, like, this is absurd. Why would I? There's no reason to believe that. Um, and yeah, seems like a pretty easy reading here. So I'm going to keep these videos kind of short. This is my tentative return to YouTube. Maybe I'll keep going, maybe I won't. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you're interested in readings or want to learn the meanings of the cards, planets, or signs, check out the website down in the description. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Take care.